my goodness.
Moritz, Switzerland, the spiritual home of ice sliding. It's the venue for race 5 of the Wiesmann FIBT 4-man bobsleigh World Cup on the mountainside between St. Moritz and Celerina down below. This most historic, the longest, the fastest, and the only remaining naturally hand-built ice track in the business is the playground for our athletes today. Going into the second and deciding heat, where 20 fastest out of the 28 sleds that started will go in reverse order. Max Arndt to Germany, the reigning world champion, lies in 5th position. The Germans looking very strong here.
Well, he won the World Championships here in 2013, and coming off that crash 2 weeks ago in Altenburg, he looks like he's primed and chance to get on the podium again. Francisco Friedrich. Well, he's had a slump. He won the first of two-man event in Lake Placid. He hasn't been very strong since. Missed a lot of podiums, but great start. He went down early, posted a great time. Gustav Langen likes it, and he sees Friedrich with a chance to win a medal, but they're all chasing the guy who leads the two-man and the four-man World Cup, Oskars Melbardis. He won the event yesterday. Start record at the top of the track, even though they look like they had a skid there in curve 1. On the bottom part of the track, he flew, not by a lot, but set the track record ahead of the Germans. Going to be a great race.
German sleds at the top of the track, ready to go. They'll be last on the ice with Melbardis, the race leader. Francesco Friedrich second, just 600s behind. And look at the battle for the podium from Max Arndt down to Nikita Zakharov. All in there swinging, including Uga Zalims of Latvia, yesterday's surprise silver medalist. Vuk Radjenovic of Serbia, 20th in the first heat. Nick Cunningham, Cody Basque, Stephen Holcomb, the USA, 14th, 15th, 16th. They need to find some more speed in Heat 2. Holcomb did that yesterday, coming from 12th to 6th. Well, the air temperature -5. Sun's just starting to break through the morning cloud. Ice temperature -6, a little warmer than it was yesterday. Didn't get quite so cold overnight. It was cloud cover and a little dusting of snow to make the place look even more picture perfect. We're 1,850 meters up in the Swiss Alps, ready for the start of our second and deciding heat here in St. Moritz. Vuk Radjenovic goes off first, followed by Kaylee Humphries, the women's double Olympic champion. And deep in the backfield, Stephen Holcomb, Cody Basque, Nick Cunningham need a big result here. They need to find some speed in the second heat that eluded them in the first. But once we get into the top 10, all bets are off. Anything could happen.
No. No.
St. Moritz in Switzerland, 4-man bobsleigh World Cup race number 5 at the most historic track on the planet. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action with you as we get ready to take the fastest 20 sleds from Heat 1 and shoot it out for the gold medal. Man who has won once this season in Calgary, Canada, is our first heat race leader. He's the points leader in 2- and 4-man. Oskars Melbardis, but 20th in Heat 1, Vuk Radjenovic of Serbia bumped out Justin Cripps of Canada for his place in the race. He gets a second run, and he'll be the first man to show us how quick the track is in Heat 2.
Alexander, bundle on the back is 6'9". He's a long jumper, 6'9", tallest guy in the competition. Speed of 48.5. That's everything you want to see. The speed is, the entry into the sled is so crucial on that first curve. It's short.
Slower start and lower speed in the first couple of corners in their first run. The guys at 2 and 3, one of them almost fell, slipping on the ice as they came off the blocks.
Skid. Now with the horseshoe, most famous curve in the world. Clean. Speed. 104, 105. That's not bad speed. We're going to see 106 and change.
Still not as fast as he was in the first heat. 106.34. He can't drop out of the top 20 as there are only 20 sleds going into Heat 2.
That's first four-man World Cup of the year for him. He's been on the Open Cup tour, four-time Olympian. I know his father, Boris, well, from the Sarajevo Olympics when Boris was the #1 driver for Yugoslavia then.
A more tidy run, but the time is exactly identical to the 100. 106.34 in both heats. Better speed in the bottom of the track, though. So ironed out a couple of mistakes, but the start let them down. I think the shot from behind at the start will probably show us.
Skid here, Nash, Dixon. Boy, you don't want to be doing that. You want the sled to accelerate, not be skidding across the ice, almost like a parachute slowing you down. Now into the horseshoe curve, good lines. Vuk, Bogdanovic.
Radinovic leads for Serbia. Next up, Kaylee Humphries for Canada, with DJ McClellan, Dan Dale, and Ephraim Violato behind her. The double Olympic champion. This is her third four-man race of the season. She was 15th in Calgary, 18th last week.
Start time efficiency, but boy, great lines down the track. They're all in and down very quick. Ooh, she's got a skid going there. She's got a 2200s lead, 48.6, similar to the Yugoslavian sled that just, or the...
Identical to the Yugoslavs, to the Serbs, rather.
Serbs.
You're leading me astray with Yugoslavia. 48.7, actually better speed on the exit. Her guys got in nice and cleanly. She has the lead.
She's been driving great all week. So she was 2200s to 2200s. That sort of says she stopped the bleeding here.
Well, that's her first heat advantage. So at the moment, she's found nothing extra in pace over the Serbian sled.
Well, that mistake at curve one, now she's flying away. She's
Here we go.
On the bottom part of the track, she was great speed all week long in practice.
Well, we're not imagining that she's forgotten how to drive just because she's in a four-man, are we?
No, but, you know, I'm wondering if this four-man toil is taken away from her two-man talent, because she finished 7th yesterday in an event that she won last year.
145, not as quick at the bottom as in her first heat. 106.23, that's about a 10th slower, but she'll move into the lead. Tidier lines than Coach Tom Delahunty managed in the Fire Arband race on Friday evening. Kaylee Humphries, the race leader then.
Get in, get down before this first curve. It's so important to be settled. They were. It's good teamwork there. Little skid here, though.
Big flop of snow there, flopped out of the trees, yeah.
Yeah, and this little skid out of curve one, so somebody might have moved back there causing that. Cost her some time.
There is your race leader. 18 to go, including her teammate Chris Spring. The Canadians were racked up 18th, 19th, and then 20th place was the third sled, Justin Cripps, but he got bumped out by Radjenovic of Serbia. Chris Spring with Alex Kopacz behind him. Struggled to get his knees down behind the driver in the first heat. Derek Plug, Josh Kirkpatrick with the former Australian driver in this Canada sled.
So they get down before the first curve. Pretty good.
Tidier load this time, bump on the wall.
Same start, 50. That's very good start speed for a 50, for 508 to get a 50. That's good. Look, at he's got the same issues going on, a little drifting in that long straightaway 1 to 2. Watch him flop off here. Yeah, he did the same thing. He came over to the wrong side. Chris did not have a very clean run in that first heat. He's got a huge lead on Kaylee Humphries, which he doesn't really want to see Kaylee Humphries lead. That Canadian camp. Not that they're, you know, they shouldn't be back here. These Canadian athletes were all in the top 10. To see Justin Cripps not make the cut. Bad runner selection there.
200s up on Kaylee Humphries from the first heat is now 7/10, having a much nicer trip this time, Chris Spring.
That tells you how bad he was in the first run.
3/10 and a 14th his results this year. 146.1 is 90.9 miles an hour.
53 hundredths better in the second run. Now, if he would have put that down in the first run, he'd be up in the top 11, which is you would expect Chris Spring to be. Horseshoe, most famous curve in the world. Look at the heads. Look at him exit. No, not great aerodynamic profile there by all four heads, but good drive by the Springer in the second run, not the first.
'31-year-old Rico Pater struggling today with flu, and also having trained all week in a Wolfgang Stampfer-built sled. He is back in the Citius sled. The Federation wouldn't allow him to drive the sled that he felt was quicker. Apart from anything else, didn't have the right sponsors' logos on it. So he is up against it here. Also an early start draw number 5. Very frosty track for the first few guys. That didn't help him either.
5:05, 8:11. Good entry there. 5:05 speed should be near 50. Yeah, that's expected. But you saw that, ooh, there's a drift. You saw Chris Spring with 300 slower start match the start speed of the Swiss. So the Swiss gave up 3/10 of a kilometer speed, something to do with the entry into the sled around the first curve.
Now, am I imagining it, or did that flop of snow vanish before Rico Pater came down?
I think you did not imagine it. I think you're correct, and there's this home track advantage, what you call that.
Out of Horseshoe, nice lines from Rico Pater.
Ooh, the skid there, though. Speed's huge, fast.
Very quick indeed. Only 1:05 in the first heat, nearly 2 Ks quicker.
Well, this is what we expected out of him. First heat, he was off the charts with hitting walls.
Of course, having driven a different sled with different steering all week, to get in race day, it feels very different. You have to adapt fast. All right, it's one he's used to, but not this week.
Almost a second.
Yep.
He went 86 hundredths better in the first run. He'd have been in top 4 with that run.
That's a really nice run. Leads Chris Spring by 19 hundredths of a second. Kaylee Humphries third for Canada. Vuk Radjanovic for Serbia in 4th.
Okay.
Well, there isn't the snow that the other two ran into the last couple of sleds. Had a skid nonetheless.
Yeah, a little bit out of that second curve. Marcel Rohner helping him out there.
Rico Pater of Switzerland, the race leader, as Stephen Holken comes to the ice. 12th in the first heat in 2-man yesterday, drove himself into 6th position. Start draw number 2 here. That's like tying your shoelaces together at the start. Very frosty track. These guys could well move up fast, same as Rico Pater.
Olsen's from San Antonio, Texas. Carlos Valdez from Newport Beach, California. And Missioners from Gresham, Oregon. Holcomb from Park City.
Come on, big start, big start.
Start wasn't spectacular. 5:09 in the first run. Getting it down. Oh, big mistake. 5:10. Speed's 49.6. Steve Holcomb. That is. Look at that. And he's probably angry. He already knows that his chances of moving up are slim unless he's perfect the rest of the way down the track. And it's dead heat now. That's relative to that mishap at the start. And Rico Pater was flying. A lot of problems here.
Long skid down into the Horseshoe. 200s behind. Rico Pater 106.8. Holcomb 105.8. Full kilometer down.
The question is, can he fall a couple places? He could fall behind Chris Spring also. 900s. He'd be safe. Looks like the second. So it'll be the fall 1 spot. 3rd time of the night. The Olympic gold medalist continues to struggle. The starts. The U.S. team keeps shuffling things up. The athleticism is there. The teamwork, that needs to be more precise. You know, get in, get down. Get in, get down early so we don't have a skid around the first curve. And there's a skid, an opposite that we saw Kaylee Humphries have. Even so, this wasn't Steve Holcomb-esque. here. Usually yesterday, the two-man, he couldn't have 2 perfect runs in the two-man to finish 6th with deficient starts. Here he's skidding all the way down into horseshoe.
Cody Basque from Whitehall, New York, 20-year-old American. Rico Peder of Switzerland is our race leader.
Here we go, here we go.
Set.
Cody Basque and team with a 5:10 in the first run. They got some issues too. Cody started later, Holcomb started 2, but Holcomb had a good run, but this run he was terrible. Adam Clark's from Owenton, Kentucky. Harrison's from Edmond, Washington. David Crimmins from
big skid.
Virginia. Yeah, that's a skid.
100 in front and Rico Peder up to the horseshoe. 200 creeping in front.
Great speed.
Faster than the Swiss.
Skid there. Ooh, out of Shamrock. Has he got it 2. Watch out.
Rico Peder had 146.3 at the bottom. Basque needs huge speed now.
Doesn't have it.
Drop into second place in front of teammate Stephen Holcomb. Yes, he does. 300s in front. Top 3 covered by 900ths of a second now. As Rico Peder still looking fairly sick in the leader's box. Struggling with flu, Cody Basque takes the lead away, or takes second place away from Stephen Holcomb.
Skid, Nash and Dixon. He's had problems in the two-man with Nash and Dixon also, and that skid right there, speed, still trying to accelerate at that point. Now the exit into horseshoe, and he's still got a skid going.
Cody Basque in second, Rico Peder of Switzerland leading. Next up is our 3rd US sled, California boy Nick Cunningham. Cunningham with Aaron Victorian, James Reed, Adrian Adams behind him. 14th place. Not really where you want the top US sled to be in a 4-man race.
All right, here we go. Come on. Good. Bust it, ready?
This is the night train 1. Had a 5:10 in the first run at the start. 5:11. Speed 49.9, 49.8. Boy, with that start time, they should have been at least 2/10 of a kilometer better. And this sled last year, Cunningham was in 3rd place into the first run and crashed down a tree. So he's had some good results on this track. 800's lead on Peter. At the bottom, the Swiss needs to be clean here. Oop, that wasn't a tap. 106 speed. Needs it. 105.7. 65.7 miles an hour. That's not going to be very good to keep ahead of the Swiss. Now he's behind. Now he could fall behind his teammate, too. He's going to fall back at least 2 spots. 5th best time he falls back all 3 US sleds. So Cunningham loses 3 spots. The Canadians have had not a very good weekend, and neither have the Americans.
Not the best, that's for sure.
In men's bob.
Yeah.
North America just had some great results on this track last few years. Start. Really good athletes here. Why they are not achieving better start times? Of course, they've been shuffled up from team to team. They're looking for the magic combination, and once they stick with it, they'll start to get some more teamwork in. Heads, look at the runner tips. He takes the night train off the curve. Look at the articulation split a little bit there.
Young Won and his team of Korea at the box.
Rico Peder still leads for Switzerland. Next up to challenge him, Yoon Jong-won of Korea. One was 13th after the first heat. And he has an advantage of little under 0.2 of a second, a little over 0.2 of a second over the Swiss. Sled rented from the Dutch for the World Cup season here in Europe.
It's a Stanford sled. Stanford coaches the Australian, who now coaches the Swiss. Koreans in quickly. Push bars still out, 5:15. Speed 49.5. He went late. So Rico Peter, who's already moved up 4 spots, he's got a chance to knock off another one. Koreans are coming on, though. Doing men's skeleton. They won 2 medals so far on the World Cup Tour in 5 races. Good development program in Korea. Oh, that's a hard steer out of there. Skid, good speed, though. Boy, that low line out of Horseshoe, I don't know if that's going to cost him or not. Yeah, it did. It'll be pretty hard for him to get that back. That low line ain't the way to go. Plus, that low line means you had to really, really, really steer. Sixth best time. He falls 4 spots. Falls behind all 3 American sleds and Chris Spring, just ahead of, well ahead of Kelly Humphreys. But he went late. He went 21st in that first run, Martin. And that's an advantage on this track. Watch this low line around Horseshoe. Everybody else is up near the lip. Now watch how low he gets on. And to get this low, he gets in, he steers hard. Really pulls hard. Look how low. No problem on the crossover, but just think that erased a lot of speed.
Rico Peter of Switzerland, still our race leader. Next up is the sled that was in 12th place after the first heat. Another late start draw beneficiary, Jan Verber of the Czech Republic. The ice was getting nicely polished by the time he came down. Encouraging words from Ivo Danilevich, former driver and now coaching. Verber's second World Cup race of the season.
5:15. Did he get down for that first curve? They do. 5:15. 49.8 should be the speed. 49.6. So they didn't have really good velocity getting in the sled. Something happened there. He's got 2400s on Peter that's going to disappear pretty quickly. And he didn't have a smooth run first heat. That's got 8. I'm Rico Peter. I'm thinking I got a chance to knock off somebody else here. Gonna need 106 speed here to have a chance. 9, 8, 107 speed. Okay. Jan Verber. Here he comes. That's the first time we've seen that 107 speed.
Yeah, fastest sled so far at that mark.
Much better run than he had in his first heat. First heat, he was hitting a lot of.
Yeah, it was a little skiddy. Same speed. Oh no, a kilometre an hour quicker than his first run.
Wow.
That's a good run.
105.40, 105.82, 4,200's better. He'd have done that in the first run, he'd be up there the top 7.
Well, guaranteed no worse than a top 12 finish.
It's great.
That is a really good run from him. He was 11th 2 weeks ago in Altenburg. His 4-man skills are coming on very nicely indeed.
This line that crosses over out of exit of Horseshoe, now looking for the take-on. To the bottom right of your screen is the take-on to telephone. He hits that perfectly. You don't want to hit it too early. Well, that's why he had 107 kilometer speed, 65 miles an hour on the bottom part of the track.
Lots of noise at the top of the track now for Latvia. 11th place after the first heat, Oskars Kybermanis. Kybermanis, first man on the ice this morning. And that's always a disadvantage here. The 21-year-old former decathlete, 2 years a driver in bobsleigh.
Second best start times in the first run, and he went out first. Big disadvantage. He does it again here. Has a good run. He can move up 4 or 5 places. You have that start time, you have that trump card. Watch how quickly they get in. 4.99, speed 50.4. Now, made some driving errors also, which is, as you say, Marty, he's only been driving. This is his 3rd season driving. They accelerated him right from the classroom to the front seat. They didn't even involve him as a brakeman. Why? Because he's such an athlete. One of many decathletes from the
Latvian decathlon coaches must be despairing of ever keeping any athletes.
A little flop there out of Shamrock.
106.8 is very good speed, 66.5 miles an hour.
Needs to be clean. Let's listen for the sound if he hits anything. No, 146.3. 91 miles an hour on the super speedway here in St. Moritz. Track record 105.07. 70 300's better. Disadvantage going 1.
Yeah,
He
no
really
question.
disadvantage. Good chance of having 3 Latvian sleds again in the top 7.
5th last week in Koenigsegg. That's a really nice top draw drive from him. Latvia's Barmy Army on the road as ever. Lots of support for Kibermanis and his compatriots.
Look at the heads. Look at the rudder tips now. The perfect dive off the exit of Horseshoe, looking to hit the take-on, to telephone perfectly, track record. Nice job.
Oskars Kibermanis, our race leader, halfway through the 2nd heat here in St. Moritz in Switzerland, the 4-man bobsleigh. Any other track, when a coach comes back with start draw number 1 in bobsleigh, John Morgan, you are very pleased indeed because you get the best of the ice. Here, you get the frostiest of the ice, the slowest track conditions. You might not think it makes a difference, but frost over a mile of ice does make a big difference and just takes speed out of the sled. Kibermanis really putting in a top draw effort in this 2nd heat. And that leaves him in the lead. Looking very pensive, though. He knows that a later start draw might well have helped him, but that's the way it is. It's how it works here. Lots of athletes from the women's races up at the top of the track. Everybody enjoying a bit of sunshine. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, so everybody's still buttoned up and muffled against the cold.
It's like a Swiss alumni program. There's Marcel Rohner, Reto Goci, Eric Scher gold medalist in 80, Goci silver medalist in Lillehammer, Rohner silver medalist in Nagano, and we could go on and on and on. There's just a lot of, it's like alumni weekend when the World Cup's here.
You know who we almost never see? We almost never see Martin Unnen back here. He kind of walked away from bobsleigh and just never comes back to take in the atmosphere.
Ivo Rug, Max Rug, Tony Rug.
Yeah, Reto
So
there.
a lot of them
They're around
Evos
occasionally, yeah.
Here with his young child.
Yeah. The next generation of the family to come
Rugs.
sliding, yeah.
I competed against his uncle and father, and then the Rugs came through with like 3 or 4 Rug drivers there about 6 years ago.
Stunning conditions here. This is just such a wonderful place to come. And very historic track, full of atmosphere. St. Moritz, Switzerland, 2nd and deciding round of the 4-man bobsleigh competition. Martin Haven, John Morgan trackside watching Alexei Stulnev of Russia. 10th after the 1st heat, Stulnev. Came 14th out of the start shed, the 27-year-old. Best result of the season so far, 10th last week in Koenigsegg.
Start, not that good. Ooh, we got some issues. Push bars all retracting. Speed not going to be very good, 49 and change. Keeperman's blew him away at the start. Well, that was some taps there, too.
Quicker start than their first getaway, nevertheless.
Yeah, no, but not very good speed, though, because of that They were not cohesive getting into the sled. But now, perfect line down here. He might have a chance, but 3700ths, I don't think so.
He was only 300ths in front of Oscar Kibermanis in the first heat.
Kibermanis could move up 5 places.
Yeah.
Speed, he's losing more time. Speed's good, but he's 4/10 behind. He might eat into a 10th of that on the bottom because he was quick at the bottom in the first run on this super speedway. Listen to the sound. The athletes actually say they can hear the loudspeaker on the way down. They can actually talk to each other. It's so quiet on this natural ice surface.
Sagging down the order to 5th place behind Cody Basque of the USA. 9 to go. He's going to be, well, top 15 just.
Now the whole mistake he made, Martin, was at the first 50 meters. Start, you know, these guys, the Russians are shuffling these guys around too. Now watch the guy on the right next to his power step. Oh, did you see that? He missed. He hit the side of the sled, and that's caused him his problems. And then when they go around the curve, then they're shaking. And this is all the way down to curve 2. He's still not recovered. Look how low his eyes are. That looks like little Pierre Luder's coaching right there.
Well, there is Alexei Stulnev. Next up at the top of the track is his teammate, Alexander Kasyanov. Kasyanov, 9th of our starters this morning, came down in 9th place, off 9th best start. It's not the 9th today, is it? 31-year-old from Bratsk. 2 four-man silver medals in his career to date. Not going to add to that this year, this week rather.
2 4th-place finishes at the Olympics last year, both time losing out to Steve Holcomb by 0.03 of a second. That's going to haunt him for the rest of his life. Start wasn't that good. 5:09. Skid there. They're down pretty quick though. 5:08. 49.9. 49.7. A little skid going to that first curve. Yeah, Kasyanov, a little unlucky in the first race of the year. He lost to Max Arndt by 1/100th of a second. We have an athlete profile that's up on our FIBT site, and he talked about, I'm going to have a big season. Well, he really hasn't had any more podiums since. And this is one of my picks to really have a solid year. Nice line there. Speed, 106.7. Big speed, gonna need it.
Not as quick as Kibermanis, and the gap is still 0.2 of a second.
How many is he gonna fall here?
Well, he's down to 2nd place. Jan Verber is currently 2nd, ahead of Rico Peter. Big skid down the straight.
Wow. 90.7 miles an hour. 5th best time.
Still holds it in 2nd place, but he didn't advance much. 3/10 better, 2.5 better than his first heat, but not enough to combat Oscar's Kibermanis. Well, what a difference to his season a win might have made in Lake Placid rather than being edged out.
Pictures, exit, perfect. I mean, he is a great driver.
Austria's Benny Meyer, 20-year-old from Rum, just outside Innsbruck, where we'll be in a couple of weeks' time. And he is starting to turn into something of a star for the Austrian team. Good start draw for him, 16th.
Kibermanis on the left.
Best result of the season, 8th last week. He is 8th after the first heat. Off a 16th faster start, he had some really good drive lines. They need a neat getaway here. That'll
14,
do it.
Same as his first. 49.8 should be the speed. 49.7. Flies on the bottom part of the track. Now he's got a huge lead over Kibermanis. For this kid to finish in the top 10, 20 years old, him and Cody Basque, youngest guys in the driving in the front seats, builds his own equipment. Really was amazed. I keep telling the story. 20-year-old kid, he knows as much about bobsleds as any 20-year-old on the planet.
Brother Raphael slide skeleton in the World Cup for Austria. They've got a younger brother, Sammy, at home, who's also a skeleton athlete. 107 is good speed, fastest we've seen for a long while.
17, couple of hits, though. Gonna have to get, he's got to down to 15. Let's listen, he cannot hit anything else to have a chance.
146.5, equal fastest speed with Jan Verber of the Czech Republic.
Third, oh, still a great result. Still a great result. Look at his father on the right, Manfred.
And there's no guarantee that sleds still to come will stay in front of him. He was in a really close group of athletes.
He's running with the big dogs. 20-year-old kid, gets some start times. Really impressed with his knowledge of the equipment.
Jan Verber of the Czech Republic, still the fastest sled on this track.
Start. Let's do it. Choreography on ice. Get in, get down, exact, settle. Go into an aerodynamic profile behind your driver. Here, comes out a little late, taps the left-hand wall. Watch the spray come up. No, it doesn't. It snuck over there nice.
Benny Meyer of Austria in second place. Oskars Kibermanis of Latvia is our race leader. 7 sleds to go here in St. Moritz. Last shot for the Russians is Nikita Zakharov. Now, he's been in and out of the World Cup this season. Zakharov did the first 2 races, sat out the second 2 as Maxim Adrianov raced the 4-man. He's back this week, Adrianov back next week in La Playa.
11 and an 11. So this should be 49.9 at least. 50. Good entry by the athletes into the sled. And that reward was just taken away by that little skid there.
Well, we talk about how drivers are going to have to come from being strong brakemen. All 3 guys behind Zakharov have already started their bobsleigh driving career for Russia.
And they're all ranked in the FIBT system. That tells you about the development program that the Russians, led by Pierre Luders, have got going on. The brakeman clearly entered. His sister was the gold medalist in the 400-meter hurdles in London. So he comes from a big track and field background. Of course, the whole Russian team's Russian track and field backgrounds.
Nice run, just 400s in front though. The first heat advantage is ebbed away.
He's going to do it.
Good speed, holds on in front of Oskars Kibermanis, or does he?
Yes.
900ths of a second. Well, Kibermanis finally eased out to the leader's box after 3 sleds failed to stay in front of him. So Nikita Zakharov leads for Russia, but we still have 6 sleds to come.
Oh, the horseshoe curve. We love looking at the horseshoe curve. The slingshot effect for these Russians on the bottom part of the track. Look at the brakeman. Look how low that brakeman is. That is what you need. It looks like he gets on there where he wants. Great speed. Exit horseshoe and on the bottom. That's why he's the leader.
Latvian flags waving once more for yesterday's 2-man silver medalist, Ugis Zalims. Best result in 4-man for him. 6th place in Calgary, couple of seasons back. He's done the odd World Cup weekend. He's competed twice in the World Championships for Latvia in 4-man and 2-man. This is his first World Cup weekend this year. Bang, yesterday silver, tied with Bert Hefty behind winner Oskars Melbardis. Hello guys, I'm back.
He's got gloves on. Oh, push.
Oh, now he's going to have to get his feet up. He won't be able to steer.
Now this is
disaster for the Latvians.
push bar collapsed on him.
Yeah. Has a little locking mechanism. The pin, you hit a lever, pulls it back when you're in the sled to drop the bar down. The bar won't support itself, and clearly the pin wasn't quite in the hole where it needed to be.
Now he's 7/10 back.
Right, it's over. All he can do is not crash now.
So if he doesn't, he can fall 9 places.
he could end up at the tail of the field. 13th of the 15 sleds. He is sled number 15 on the ice.
He's all the way back behind the Koreans.
Yeah, he's got
Probably right
no lead at all.
Full seconds.
What a disaster, because he was definitely looking as if he had potential, even maybe to challenge for a medal. 1:45, still good speed at the bottom.
Well, he might have sold his soul to the devil yesterday with that second place finish too, though.
Wow.
15th, he dropped 13 places.
Russians don't exactly look overjoyed, because they all know that what happened to the Latvians can happen to you as well.
Listen.
Not a sound.
Watch the push bar just collapse on him.
And how lucky is he not to get his fingers trapped?
And how about getting in the sled?
Yeah.
Look at this. How does he get in the sled?
Lord knows.
Well, we were due for one of these start mishaps. Too bad it happened to him.
And you know what the worst thing is? That's going to be in every reel for the next 5 years.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Boy, that's just, then they got to drive a minute down the track.
Well, Nikita Zakharov of Russia leads. 5 sleds still to go. Two sleds tied for 4th place in the first heat. Simone Bertazzo of Italy, renowned as a two-man driver, pulled out a rabbit from the hat in the 4-man here. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action. The final 5 sleds shooting for the medals now here in St. Moritz. 200ths of a second off a medal. This could be a huge day for the Italian.
Speed, though, he's really got a deficit at the start.
Well, that's slower than their first heat by 500ths.
Very inconsistent.
Maybe they were just taking a step less to make sure they were in and settled.
But you're looking at a guy who's got great eyes and hands. Eyes of a hawk, the hands of a surgeon, you like to say.
Everybody else in the top 5 started in the first 10 sleds. He was 17th on the ice. He had better ice to work with, but he used it well. 1:06.9 is very good speed.
Little tap up in Nash Dixon might be his only albatross so far. Now he's picking it up. Simone Bertazzo might be posting Italy's best finish in 4-man bobsled in years.
1:47 in the first heat, 1:47.1.
Boy,
this will be his best ever 4-man result. Surely he leads by 1,500 from the Latvians.
Graham Richardson, the former British athlete, coaching the Italians, and that'll give the Italians some hope for the rest of the season.
Well, guaranteed top 5. Never mind hope. What about what kind of funding that might kick in?
Simone, nice job.
Nice job indeed from Simone Bertazzo.
Little tap up here, Nash Dixon, his only mistake of the run. And he had great speeds. He probably had the best speeds, I bet you, in horseshoe and down in the finish of anybody.
Quicker than Jan Verber. That's the top speed sled so far. He moves into the leader's box with 4 to go, including Nico Walter of Germany. What a star this kid is turning into. Didn't start in Lake Placid. 5th, gold and silver. That's his 4-man tally this year.
5 flat start. 3rd best start in the first run, but these 2 6'7", 6'6" guys in the middle. 5:04. 400 slow speed, 50.1. That's not great velocity, and he's got a skid going there. Should have had better velocity. Should have had 50.2 or 50.3 there. And he's in a dead heat with Bertazzo, but he beat Bertazzo at the start by about 10 hundredths. This should be up to 22 or 23 hundredths here. 19. If I favor Bertazzo there, because if any mistakes are made here, well, like that. Needs the perfect exit, needs 106.8 or so speed. He's got the 106.8 speed, quarter of a second in hand.
Is it enough to beat one of his 2 teammates and get a medal?
Losing some back.
Bertazzo, 147.1 at the bottom.
Oh, he hit there, but this is enough.
He'll take the lead. He was only 200 out of the medals in the first heat. He leads Simone Bertazzo of Italy.
And he goes down the track 30 hundredths better in his second run. So the track's still got some time in it, some speed in it.
Well, bearing in mind all these guys now came out the start shed in the first 10 sleds. It was definitely slower then than it is now. Definitely slower then than it was later.
Mistake, a lot of mistakes here. The athletes were saying yesterday it was slippery ice. Now figure that out.
Yeah.
But they said they couldn't control their sleds. I watched the picture. This is low. This is a low line on the exit of Horseshoe as I look at it. Look at the heads buried in there though.
Nico Walter leads for Germany. 2 more German sleds to come as we hit the medals. Max Arndt, world champion on this track 2 years ago. Bronze on this track 1 year ago. He lies in the bronze medal position.
Martin puts her in the back, first event of the year, the former brakeman for Andre Lange. Jan Speer, Alexander Rudiker, all those guys also slid with Andre Lange. Start 5:06. 5:06 in the first run. 50.3. They had 200 slower start than their teammates, but they had a 2 kilometers better start entry speed. And then he just threw all of it away with that tap out of curve 2. That is unlike Max Arndt.
That might be enough to make the difference in the medals. The 3 German sleds were tight.
Good there, though.
Nash Dixon has been producing all sorts of problems. Way up on the woodwork, same as in the first heat. Here we go.
107, what a weight!
108.
No one else got near that. So this is what he does.
He only had 106 in the first heat. Down at the bottom in the first heat, Max Arndt was motoring on at 146.
This is huge. This is a big run from Max Arndt.
Could be on for a track record. 148 at the bottom. It is on for a track record.
Speeds are unbelievable.
105.18 is the fastest run.
Track
He's
record.
inside it at 104.75.
First time I've ever seen anybody go under 105 on this track, I think. Year to year, you don't ever think of it, but
Yeah.
that's unbelievable.
148 flat kilometers an hour. Right up there with some of the fastest speeds ever seen here.
Just another day. Look at the relaxed. But this, Mister, what would he have done without this?
You see the front runners are tracking along in the grooves left by the others, and that's starting to
Look at
put
this
in a little
high.
weave.
This is his signature, right here. Up on the wood, he doesn't touch the wood, and he dives out to the best speeds of the bottom part of the track by far.
Last of the German sleds, Francesco Friedrich, the 2-man world champion. He won that title on this track 2 years ago. 20 years old and the youngest ever bobsleigh world champion. He's 600ths off the lead from the first heat. He could win this, and if he did, that would be a big boost for his season so far.
He's been in a slump since the 2-man gold medal in Lake Placid, opening event of the year. He's had
Silver in Calgary in the 4-man, but yeah, it's been a moderate year so far.
Look at that start speed, though,
boy.
50.6. He's going to be 25 hundredths ahead here out of Sunny. Well, he should be 20 to 25 hundredths ahead here out of Sunny.
497 is a big start, but that bump off the first corner, we're talking probably
33 hundredths.
a couple of hundreds between him and Mel Bardis, who comes last.
That's start speed. Now, oh, real pressure there. What kind of line here in Horseshoe? Just like Max Arndt. 108. 108 flat. This is big run for this young Francisco Friedrich. And he's been in a slump, but he's losing a little time back. Let's listen. If we hear any sound, that's going to take a lot of time away. Yes, big hit.
145 in the first heat, 147.4 in the
Big
second.
skid there.
Enough to take the lead from Max Arndt with a new track record, but is it enough for gold?
Big day for Francisco Friedrich. He's off the snide. He's been in a slump. Last week he fell out of the medals in both the 2 and the 4. Listen.
93 gestartet.
Talking about the start speed was the best of the day. That's the way to do it. Watch these 4 huge men. In, down, around that first curve. But this bump, like you said, Martin, even, how can they have that much speed with that bump? Down here, another hit. Watch the skid. He's got 2 skids coming in down here. He went from 3,500s up to only 20-something hundreds. We'll see if that costs him the gold medal. But he's got a silver in the bank.
Back in the medals, second silver medal potentially of the season, unless there's a little mistake from Oskars Melbardis, and that's all it will take. This is a team that won on this track last year. They have also won in Calgary this season. He's the 2-man World Cup leader. He's the 4-man World Cup leader. He took gold yesterday with Damas Dreskins behind him. Can they double up?
494 start in the first round track record. They got to have a great start again because he didn't drive perfect on the way down. The silver medal team from last year's Winter Olympics. Let's see if they can conserve. Look how quick they're in the sled. 497 speed, 50.6 at least, 50.7.
Same start speed as Francesco Friedrich's crew. The gap is 600ths of a second.
Now with the start advantage he just posted there, he should be up by about 14 or 15 at least.
No bump on the wall either. Nicely through snake 1 and snake 2.
Only 8. If I'm Francesco Friedrich, that tells me that he had a problem up top.
Okay, so has the track moved away from the runner choice that the Latvians made in the first hit? Good line, good exit from Horseshoe.
Oh, but he just had the great speed.
Fastest of all.
Boy, he's turning into a driver. He's a massive animal at the start.
This is his year, isn't it? Winner in 2-man. He's going to be the winner in 4-man unless he really slams it into the wall here. Good run down the bottom of the track. 147.6 is not the fastest we've seen, but it might even be a new track record to win it. It is 104.55. Oskars Melbardis of Latvia wins his second gold medal of the weekend, his second 4-man victory of the season. What? Just another day at the office. It's almost as if they expect it now. And I don't mean the fans, I mean the team. Francesco Friedrich goes over to offer congratulations and helps with the sled. 800ths the lead in the first heat. He extended it by 1/10 of a second in the second run. The start wasn't quite as quick, but the velocity was. And Oskars Melbardis ironed out any chance of a mistake. All the way to the line. He had the lead, and he never relinquished it. Win number 2 of the season for our 4-man World Cup points leader. Unless something dramatic happens, he's going to sweep all the World Cup crystal globes, 2-man, 4-man, and combined. There's the result. Francesco Friedrich second, Max Arndt third, Nico Walter just off the podium fourth. Simone Batatsu, a huge result for him in fifth, ahead of Nikita Zakharov, the best of the Russians. Oskars Kibermanis in 7th. Jan Verber, 10th place for the tiny Czech Republic team. What a result. And Rico Pater just ahead of America's Cody Bastiu, with Vuk Radjenovic rounding out your top 20. Ugi Zalim's in 18th place, the unfortunate Latvian whose push bar dropped down into the sled when he was trying to start. Otherwise, who knows? Guaranteed he should have been in the top half dozen. He might even have been in amongst the medals, as he was yesterday when Latvia took first and second in the 2-man race. Well, they get first, 7th, and 18th in the 4-man race, but for Oskars Melbardis, victory in the 4-man for the second time this season, and for the second time in a row on this track. 2 years ago, the 4-man race was the World Championships. Max Arndt won that. He was in the bronze medal position last year. He's in the bronze medal position this year. The only change in the podium is there is no Commander Zubkov. Alexander Zubkov, the Russian, who went on to win the Olympic medal, the gold medal in February in Sochi, has retired. And taking his place between Melbardis and Arndt is two-man world champion Francesco Friedrich. The Germans both won their titles, two-man Friedrich, four-man Arndt, here in St. Moritz in 2013's Worlds. And they go to Winterberg in Germany to defend those titles last week of February, first week of March. Can't wait to see what they've done for the Worlds coming to Winterberg. Those guys in the Hochsau land in Germany have been getting excited about that for the last 2 or 3 years, really starting to wind themselves up. Could be a great fortnight of action. Well, as ever here in St. Moritz, stunning scenery, and this legendary track has produced good, close racing. Some very entertaining results. In the winter wonderland that is St. Moritz, Oskars Melbardis extends his World Cup lead in the four-man. He retook the two-man lead yesterday with victory. He marches away in the lead of the four-man with his second win of the season. Francesco Friedrich, Alexander Kazyanov and Max Arndt, who crashed out in one of the races, up to 4th place. Max Arndt is recovering strongly now. Well, there are your World Cup standings. Melbardis, never off the podium so far this season, produces another top draw result. Well, they will be presented with their champagne down at the bottom of the track in the finish area. And the Latvians with 2 other German teams on the podium. Melbardis, the winner his season, bronze, gold, silver, bronze, gold. It's got a rhythm to it already, hasn't it? Gold and champagne to celebrate. Well, 2 huge starts, 4:94 in the first heat, the fastest of all. So they hold the start record for another year, and they hold the track record as well. 105.18 in the first heat, and they sliced nearly 0.6 of a second out of it to leave it at 104.55. Another standout job by Oskars Melbardis, a man who is really in his prime. Olympic silver medalist in Sochi, and a guy who looks like he could be leading the field for the next few years. Well, Latvians looked very confident yesterday, and again they paid off today. Well, let's hear from our top 3 with John Morgan.
Okay, team, Max Arndt, bronze medal today, another good result, another podium.
Yeah, it was a good day today. The 2 guys in front of us have made some crazy start time, so we have to train a little bit more to come near there at the start. The runs was okay, so the better win today.
Nice to have him back, huh? Now let's go to the second place team, Team Francisco Friedrich. Francisco, great start times today.
Thank you. We had 2 great pushes today, and the first run was very well. The second one had some small mistakes, but we are happy with this result.
Great result for you. Get on the podium, silver medal. See you in France. Melbardis, wow. The second time at the start, were you conservative, or did you be conservative, or did you go as fast?
No, I want to thank the guys. They're doing a great job today, and also I want to thank all Latvian fans who are here. This is amazing people, and I'm happy about this. And thank you.
You're a dominating bobsledding. Congratulations.
Another double gold weekend for Oskars Melbardis as Daman Strayskins gets busy with the fizzy. Yeah, because it's not cold enough at -7, so cold and wet is a little bit better. Well, Latvia's Barmy Army in good voice here after a great weekend for them in St. Moritz. And that's it from the heart of winter sliding. The World Cup trail moves on. Thanks to John Morgan, thanks to Ben Sanford for his help this week, and the FIBT TV crew. Thanks to you for joining us. We'll see you a week from now in Laplan in France. From all of us here in St. Moritz, it's Auf Wiedersehen and goodbye.